What if we're not formally given a rule of functions? How do we find the composite value? Well, let's take a look. So my first graph is the function f, and my second graph is the function g. So remember how this works. I have x values down here, and if I want to know the corresponding y value, I just look on the graph. For example, when x is 1, f of x would be 3. So the y value associated with x equals 1 is going to be 3. So I just look at where the point is on the graph, all right? So if I'm asked to find f of g of 3, I'm going to first have to figure out what g of 3 is. Okay, g of 3. So I look at this is the g graph. I find x equals 3. I look up to see where it runs into the graph, and then I look over and realize the y value there is 4. So what I'm really needing instead of f of g of 3 is f of 4. Okay, so how do I find f of 4? I go back to the f graph and I find x equals 4 and I look for what y value is associated. I don't have to go very far. It's right here on the x-axis, which means the y value is 0. So my answer for that one would be 0. Let's see if you could try one. Okay, so same two graphs. What if you were told to find g of f of 2? So this time it's the f of 2 that you have to find first. So you come over to the f graph. What would f of 2 be? Well, I'm going to look here. Here's 2. Go up. That means y value is 5. So g of 5. And then I come back over here to evaluate the g function, and I look and I find 5, and I look up, and here is the point on the graph. That tells me the answer here is 1. All right, let's take a look at doing it from a table of values. So instead of the graph, could I do it from a table? It's very similar. You just have to keep in mind which column goes with which function. So if I'm asked to find f of g of 9, well, let's see. The x here is 9, right? Because it's inside, that's what we're plugging in. Here's my x column, so here's 9. So I know that it's something related to this row down here, right? But I want g of 9, so I don't use the 3. Instead, I know that the g value there is 7. So what I have now is I want f of 7. Again, the number now is the x value, so I'm going to go up here and find x is 7. Now I'm going to look at this row, but this time I want the f value, so that's going to be the 8. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see if you can do one. So what would you do for g of f of 6? Go ahead and pause it and try it for yourself. Okay, now let's take a look. F of 6 is going to be 1, right? Because it's in this row here and it's the first column for f. So that means I want g of 1. So if I want g of 1, I'm going to go back up here and find where x is 1. Look over to the g column and realize the final answer there should be 9. Let me know if you have any questions.